Photo, David J. Phillip, Associated Press. Houston Rockets James Harden 13 brings the ball up court against the LA Clippers during the second half of an NBA basketball game Thursday, March 15, 2018, in Houston. The Rockets won 101-96. Ab photo, David J. Phillip. Houston Rockets James Harden 13 brings the ball up court against the LA Clippers during the second half of an NBA basketball game Thursday, March 15, 2018, in Houston. The Rockets won 101-96. Ab photo, David. More photo, David J. Phillip, Associated Press. James Harden propels Rockets past Pelicans. New Orleans. Alvin Gentry had declared James Harden, rather than his own headliner, the clear-cut MVP, before he seemed to quickly realize that might fly in the face of the Pelicans' campaign on Anthony Davis' behalf and spoke of the Rockets' superior record, rather than the comparison of stars. That would come later. With the Pelicans on the Rockets' heels, a 20-point lead having been reduced to 4, Harden and Davis dueled. For 8 fourth-quarter minutes, Harden scored a set-up 9 of the Rockets' 11 points, giving them just enough to hold off the Pelicans, 107-101, and push the lead on the Warriors to 3 games in the race for the Western Conference's top seed. Harden led the Rockets with 32 points, 11 rebounds and 8 assists. Davis answered with 26 points and 13 rebounds. The Rockets, however, had to struggle until the final minute, with New Orleans guards Ian Clark and Etuan Moore scoring on 4 consecutive possessions to keep the Pels within 4. Luke Mbahamut put in a pair of free throws with 22.9 seconds left for a 6-point lead, but Jrue Holiday scored just 5 seconds later through a PJ Tucker foul, going to the line with a chance to make it a one-possession game. Holiday, however, missed his free throw and Paul made a pair, giving him 21 points and the Rockets a safe 6-point lead for 21 wins in 22 games since the loss in New Orleans. When the Rockets' defense grabbed 6 minutes of control, the lead swelled to 20 and it might have seemed the regulars could spend at least some of the fourth quarter resting up for the second half of the back-to-back. Even when the Pelicans finally broke through for a few buckets, the Rockets still led by 17 with 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. With that, the Pels took off, not by riding Davis' prodigious one-on-one talents, but by firing three-pointers. Holiday put in a 3 before Darius Miller sank 3 three-pointers, one through a Paul foul for a 4-point play that cut the lead to 5. Minutes later, the Pelicans were within 4. They had not forgotten about their star. When Davis returned with 8:17 left, the Rockets led by 7 and scored on a Harden lob to Clint Capella. Davis then scored the next 8 New Orleans points, interrupted only by a Harden drive and 3 free throws when he drew a foul on Holiday that had Gentry so agitated, he shouted until he had a technical foul and the Rockets led by 10. With the Pelicans down 6 and the Rockets only points for 3 minutes for Harden free throws, Harden drove to a layup and Capella tipped in his own miss for a 10-point lead with 3.5 minutes remaining. They spent the rest of the game as if trying to run out the clock, but with 90 seconds left, Harden hit a three-pointer at the shot clock buzzer to finally build enough of a cushion. From the start, it seemed that the game would become a search for some way for both teams to slow the other. The Pelicans were determined to stay out on the Rockets' shooters, opening lanes for Harden to drive to the rim or to draw the defense off the dribble to set up threes. The Rockets scored quickly and reliably, but without getting stops on the other end. Defensively, the Rockets stuck with their usual switching defense on Davis. The mismatches did not hurt them as every Rockets starter had a turn, with Paul getting a steal in his one possession on Davis to make him one of 4 players, along with John Stockton, Gary Payton and Jason Kidd, with 8,000 career assists and 2,000 steals. But Davis was able to burn the primary defenders isolated against him, Tucker, Trevor Ariza and Mbahamut, on his way to 12 first-quarter points on 4 of 6 shooting. Late in the half, the Rockets went another way, double-teaming Davis out of their small lineups. That got the ball out of Davis' hands, but Moore scored twice and Clark once in those possessions. Paul had put in a pull-up jumper and a three-pointer before Harden ended the half with a drive for a 60-54 Rockets lead. But they still had not shown they had found a way to slow the Pelicans on the other end. It turned out, those final 2 minutes of the first half were a hint. When they took Davis out of the Pels' offense, even for a few minutes, the Rockets began to pull away. With the Pelicans making just 1 of 12 shots to start the second half, with Davis' only attempt to miss three-pointer, the Rockets put together a 16-2 run to a 20-point lead. The Pelicans got Davis a few dunks, but fueled their comeback on the strength of a flurry of threes, enough to require Harden to bring one more burst.